What's really beautiful is that when I met you, I had no idea what you do for work. And then I started seeing what you're doing on social media. And I was like, shit, empowered, like in her zone, in her power. And that's what led me up to the decision to ask you to do this interview with me, because I know you're vegan. We've met in vegan gatherings and vegan meetups, but I didn't know that you were coaching as well. And on your Instagram, it says confidence coach. So you help people to become more confident in their skin, in their energy, in their presence. So I would love to just tell us a little bit, Fanny, about how you started stepping into your power and what exactly it is that you do as a leader, as a coach, and also as an activist.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, first of all, thank you so much for even considering. I'm honored, when you ask me, you consider me as one of the activists that are aligned and well balanced. Honestly, it's not always like that, right? Who is, it's a journey, right? But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast and to share. So my name is Fanny Lara Ambadar, and I'm Indonesian. And so when I first started coaching, it was in 2014 when I was in Australia. Honestly, the reason why I get into coaching is because I want to heal myself. So I want to learn all of this first. And then when I feel like I've healed, at least to some extent, because it's never ending, right?
Yep.
I want to share. So I feel like for the longest time, I've always wanted to do this kind of work. And I studied psychology before in a university, but never really feel aligned with the teachings because it's mostly like clinical, right? Clinical psychology. I can't really apply that to my life. So maybe to give you context of why I need to heal is because I came from a broken home family. So my mom and dad got divorced when I was really young, and then I got adopted to my into my aunties and uncles' home. So I didn't live with my parents since I was 6-year-old, and then started to have mental health issue because what 6-year-old that's in their right mind thinking to kill themselves. So I was already dealing with those stuff, right? And I was insecure, got bullied a lot when I was at school. So for me, confidence is the thing that I really wanted to learn the most. And I believe that we as coaches, we teach others what we need to learn the most, or at least what we learned the most. So for me, it was confidence, just to really be confident in myself. And so yeah, so that's what I do. So from being just a regular life coach to really specializing in confidence, especially for Indonesian youth, because I was an Indonesian kid, and I was like, I don't have a mentor, I don't have a role model or someone that tells me how to be confident within myself, right?
Mm.
We heard all this quote, be confident and all that, but how?
Yeah.
So,
How exactly do we
teach
do that?
me
Yeah.
exactly how, I want that, but teach me the step by step, show me that it's possible, show me that it's possible for me, not only for you. It's amazing that you're confident, but how am I someone who's insecure, dealing with mental health challenges, so many, I feel so many drama, right? Life dramas,
Yeah.
and all that, into being a confident, the best version of me, the most confident version of me. So that's what I do, I guess.
Beautiful. I can relate to many parts, especially the suicidal. I wasn't suicidal at the age of 6, but I was at the age of from 15 until 17 and a half. I had a lot of thoughts, so I can relate to that. Thank you for sharing that so openly with us. Um, Now, since I've met you, we've met through vegan circles, the vegan gatherings in Canggu, and they were a lot of fun. But I would love to know now, you're coming from this path of your growing confidence. You have grown your confidence to a certain amount that you are able to hold space for people and pass that on, help them grow into their confident versions or their most confident version. I would love to know what time frame the veganism, or let's say the activism, kicked in, like, because veganism is for most of us vegans, and I guess for you as well, based on speaking up for animals, on being more compassionate, and also being confident in your skin to stand tall with your values, right? Like, this is my value, this is what I stand for, that's how it is. So when
100%.
when did that happen for you? When did you start to develop the sense of, hey, I am actually, my value of veganism comes through, I'm going to embody that? When did that happen?
It was, I think, 2 years into me practicing coaching. So I love that you mentioned all of that, because like what I realized as well, this is the reason why me as a confidence coach, being an activist as well, right? And talking a lot about veganism on my, on my channels, with my followers, with my clients, because it's like, I find that it's very related, confidence and and being vegan, because I feel like like all of us in our very core, we love animals, we hate cruelty, right? We want to take care of ourselves, we want to take care of the environment, we want to be a part of the solution and everything, and be like being aligning my action with that belief, it makes me more confident. Because when you have two conflicting beliefs, I believe that's called cognitive dissonance, right?
Exactly.
In a psychological term, is when you have two conflicting beliefs. In one part, you love animals, you love the environment and all that, but then you're still being a part of the problem by eating animals, and like impacted the environment as well and all that, right? So it's like, if you can't even align your action with your belief, and like you have to choose between those two, right? Like you can't even believe in yourself, because like, okay, so that's you're being hypocrite. So if you can't even believe in yourself, how can you be confident? So for me, it's so easy, when you align your action with your belief, and like choose a belief. You can't be an animal lover and an animal abuser at the same time, right? It's conflicting. This is why most people doubt themselves, because like the brain is confused, like which one are you,
Mhm.
so for me, that's how I explain it to people. Like, this is why me as confidence coach, talking a lot about animal rights and everything. I mean, in my heart, I've always known that I'm vegan, but obviously, environment, like society and everything, and the old belief and also habits and everything, growing up in a non-vegan world, basically, right? Or non-vegan family. I woken up, I guess, in 2016. But I didn't know about veganism back then. I know about vegetarianism. So I started off with being a vegetarian first. And it wasn't like an overnight switch for me. Like, I had to really kind of like fight with myself. I was compromising a lot, from like, okay, so eating cows bad, for the environment, for your health and everything. And so okay, I'm not gonna do that, right? But then like I thought, oh, chicken, but we need protein and everything, so I can understand, I
Mhm.
can understand like the difficulties, and like, oh my God, I'm gonna be an outcast and this and that, and so many things. So I had to overcome those objections myself, right? But luckily I'm a coach, so I can coach myself through that. I'm like, oh, like I question myself a lot, I have that strong sense of self-awareness, right? But still, it wasn't an overnight thing for me. So I can understand that sometimes it can take time, right? And like
Mhm.
a journey into veganism.
Mhm.
um and for me, it was because I became spiritual. That's when I became spiritual. And I feel like it's almost impossible for me to be spiritual but still eating spirits, of animals. Right? So so I guess that's my journey into veganism.
That's a really beautiful last sentence that you just said. I became spiritual, and spiritual is often a huge term that is hard to describe. But now you said, I cannot be spiritual or live in the spiritual realm of thought and eat other spirits or consciously cause harm to other spirits. Beautiful. Thank you for
Absolutely.
that. Um,
My pleasure.
I just came out of the water before, just came out of a surf, and I saw a friend when I went surfing. I had a little chat with him, And you just said something that also reminded me of the conversation I had with him. And it was about, aligning your behaviors with your values. And you said cognitive dissonance is what it is called, basically meaning that you have a core belief, but you're not able to live up to it. And so I was talking to him before I went into the ocean, and like he was like, yeah, I know I should do this and that, but it's just really hard, really hard to shift the behavior. So facing resistance, right? Facing the inner resistance, facing the resistance of the embedded habits that are printed onto our subconscious and unconscious mind. And what I would love to ask you, a bit more related to your version, or the self that is engaging in activism, that is speaking up for animals and teaching and being an ambassador for veganism. Ambassading. You're an ambassador. You ambassador.
Exactly. I love that.
So the question I have is, like, when you think of the resistance that you have been facing since you started becoming active for animals, what is an example that you could share with us that you were like, okay, that was a really, really tough one, like a really big part of resistance that threw me back into maybe even doubting veganism? Maybe it was connected to your family, maybe your mom or your dad were really like, what the fuck are you doing, Was there something that you would like to share with us where you're like, okay, that was a punch of resistance into my face?
Absolutely. I mean, this relates so much to our mindset, right? I mean, I believe that everything we do is basically motivates by our mindset, right? And by fear mostly, to be more specific. And I believe that, all fear is essentially fear of rejection. So for me, I think the biggest thing for me, and I believe for a lot of people as well, when it comes to veganism, is the not being socially accepted anymore, being the different one, right? And it takes guts, it takes courage, it takes confidence. So for me, it definitely helped that I was already in that path of becoming more empowered and being okay with being different, with choosing my own path with confidence, right? So for me it was, but I mean, if I had to look back as well, even before I was a coach, I've always been okay with being different, although I have this longing that I want to be accepted. Maybe it's also because like I'm looking back, I'm thankful, for all the hardships and all the life challenges, right? Because I feel like I already felt like I was different to most of my family, for example, most of my cousins, for example, right? Or friends that maybe haven't been, through what I've been through. So for me, it was the thought of I'm going to be even more of an outcast, or like even more of a, like in a religious family, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, right? And so that in itself is already different. That's when I first, like my journey started from there, that I choose to not follow what everyone else is doing, like get a job, get married and all that. Not that I don't want to, but it's not in my path right now. I'm still single. And most of my friends or family, they're already married with kids and everything, and I'm still like just focusing on my career, my business, is building the life that I love, moving to Bali, what I mean? Like it's a different choice to what everyone else is making, right? And I choose not to settle. So even in that, for me, it takes courage and bravery. And so I was already in that path, but it was, being a vegan, that's going to make me even more different. All right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be able to hang out. Like I'm thinking, like, how am I going to hang out with people now? I'm not going to be able to eat what they eat, but also because I was uninformed about veganism or like vegan food, right?
Yeah.
And I guess back then it wasn't as popular as right now as well. There's not many vegan options. So I would end up eating French fries or salad, and I wasn't a big fan of like salad, or I used to think that, oh my God, being vegan, that means I have to eat like very healthy food.
Yeah.
Like what about all the junk food that I love?
Right? Do I
Or
have
that
to give that up now? Oh my God.
exactly. Or like, they're gonna ask me, like they're gonna ask me, and what am I gonna tell them? So for me, it was because I was uninformed myself. I just know in my heart that this isn't right anymore, eating animals. But I wasn't like, I didn't do my research, or like I haven't got the facts, this and that. Like now, of course, it's different when someone asks me, like, I can give
Mhm.
them all the, like, how do I even start, right? You want the scientific, you want health, you want environment, like, what I mean? I can present them with that. But before, I was like, I was still learning myself. So it was the fear of the unknown. Like, oh
Fear
my
of the
gosh,
unknown. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
um because I don't know much about this, right? I don't know if this is the healthiest thing, or like if I if I can survive on it and everything. And then the fear of rejection as well, that I'm going to be rejected by people. They're going to think that I'm different. I'm not going to be, in their, I don't know, I'm not going to be a part of this society or this group anymore. But I didn't realize before that I am going to be a part of a different group, right? Which I am now, and it's honestly so much better.
Oh,
um,
that's
um,
interesting because Mike dropped that mic.
exactly.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well quite a lot, what you're saying, especially in the beginning, the insecurity of being faced with questions that you haven't really figured out yourself yet. And it was more of an intuitive choice to go vegan and to stand up for the animals, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think from hearing you talk about this, we both faced a lot of like this resistance of friends and family that just they didn't get it. They were like, "Oh, this is weird. You're strange now. You're different. Maybe you're even extreme." Like I've heard all of that. Maybe you have as well.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also would love from you, and what I'm sure is going to be essential for everybody listening to this, is now that you're facing this resistance and you have been consistently facing it, because there's always somebody coming up and it's like, oh, you're vegan? Oh, that's weird. Or, oh, you're a vegan? Oh, how do you do that? We're still living in a day and age where that happens a lot.
For sure.
And for me, I observe how it's energy work, right? Because I've talked about a lot of times, I've engaged in discussions a lot of times, I've educated people a lot of times around it, and I know you have as well as an activist. And what do you do to maintain your energy at a level where you engage in those conversations without feeling, like angry because somebody is stepping on your foot or judging you, and without feeling frustrated because, oh my God, are you not listening? You're eating animals, don't you get it? Like, what do you
Exactly.
do in maybe even your daily life to maintain a certain sense of calm and presence and love and compassion for the other humans, the same way you embody love and compassion for animals? What do you do?
So for me, just really empathizing with where they're at, at the time. Because like now, like for example, I remember when I first, talking about veganism, I wasn't like this, right? I was like, oh my God, I was so preachy, and like with with an expectation that I'm gonna convert them right there and then, right? Convert. Um, so for me it was, there's this thing that I learned from my mentor, that now I apply to almost everything in my life. High expectation, or high engagement, low expectation, right? So even when I do my sales calls, when I do my presentation or whatever, like, like high engagement but low expectation of, them signing up, or them gonna convert right there and then, right? And also low attachment as well, attachment to the outcome, that they're gonna believe me, or they're gonna convert. Like, I'm just there to provide information, because I believe that, there's this saying as well in a coaching world or personal development world: when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So maybe they were ready, right? And I happen to be the teacher that share with them the information that they needed for them to like research more or like get curious or something. Or maybe I was just there to plant the seed, right? Just so that when they are ready, they're going to be like, oh yeah, like she mentioned something about that before, right? Or something, I don't know. So for me, I'm just like, like my job, my responsible is just to share you, my responsibility is to share with you this information, but it is your choice and your responsibility to, do whatever you please with that information, right? It's not up to me anymore. It's not my job. It's not my responsibility to, to make you learn or make you a vegan or something. Of course, we would love that. We would love them to be vegan, but just also trusting that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, right? So for me, like coming with that mindset is so different. And then empathizing with where they're at as well, just really listening. Like when they say, oh, but it's so hard, what if I go out with friends, and like, yeah, like I mean, I remember being in that position, and yes, that's hard. So acknowledging them as well, that it is not easy, like it can be challenging, but then also offer a solution as well. Like, yeah, I was there, where you're at, like I've been there, done that as well, but you know what I found is that it is possible, blah blah blah. So yeah. And but also just doing that with an intention of just information giving. That's
Yeah,
all. So, and
that's
also
so
not taking
powerful.
all the objection. Yeah, and also not taking the objection personally as well.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Like what I'm hearing is practice emotional detachment. Don't take it personal if somebody isn't making that choice, even though you see the animals harm, you got to do your self-care to be able to balance your emotions in that situation. And what I notice is that when we come into a conversation or into a debate or into a demonstration with that energy, everybody else feels more open towards the cause, towards veganism, because they see and they feel that we're okay, that we're the same, that we're happy, that we're balanced. And when we come in with all of that anger, we repel. We're like, oh, if you're an activist, you have to be angry. If you're an activist, you have to like, go on the street and scream.
I
And
know. So
it's just
true.
not the case. It's like every conversation we have is activism, because our mindset is our foundation of the words we speak, the thoughts we think, and that comes through, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you mentioned about energy as well, because yeah, I believe energy multiplies. So if you come with fear, it's going to multiply. You're going to create fear. Fear creates fear. And when you're calm, it's going to create calmness as well, right? And when you do, okay, so here's the thing though. Sometimes it is challenging to be calm when we talk about animals suffering and all that, because you're passionate about it, because you care about it so much. It can trigger you, but it is what to do with that trigger that's important as well. So when you realize that you get triggered, you either need to step away or like, because I know about this self-regulation technique, so I can do that. Sometimes just breathing can help, like deep breathing, and like don't reply right away, because it's just going to be an argument when you're already like, when you notice that your energy is you're starting to get angry, you're starting to get like I don't know, fearful, or like in that fight or flight mode, right? Just breathe. And sometimes, and it's okay, that's interesting, and then you just breathe and calm yourself down and then reply. So sometimes not being spontaneous with your answers or your replies, it also helps. And yeah, like make sure that your cup is also full before you do any kind of activism. That's what I started to do as well, like a long time ago, since I realized, yeah, okay, I can't just just give out of when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, because you're gonna be more irritated. You're gonna get irritated so easily, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also now when it comes to friends or family members, I don't speak I don't give unsolicited advice, I guess. So when they ask me, I'm gonna answer, but I'm not gonna mention to everyone I'm vegan. Oh, hey, don't eat that. That's animals, or something. Usually when you lead, like the best way to lead, I believe, is leading by example.
Agreed.
And Yeah, like for example, when I'm eating with my family, there's always going to be someone brought it up, oh, why aren't you eating, and that's when, yeah, why aren't you eating this? Or like they're gonna say, oh, try this, chicken thing, like it's so nice. And I said, no thanks, I don't eat that. Like I don't eat. Oh, why not? I don't eat animals. And then we're gonna start, so there's a lot of ways that you can start a veganism conversation without actually starting a conversation.
It comes to us
Yeah,
so often, huh?
exactly, it comes. So let people be curious, right? Let people be
Yeah.
curious, let them ask.
Because even
Yeah,
if they ask, and even if it sounds a little bit like if it triggers you, but they're asking because somewhere underneath there's an interest for the unknown. They're like, I don't get it. I kind of want to get it. And even if this is not in their conscious mind, in their subconsciousness, they're like, I kind of want to get it. So every time when somebody asks, I start seeing it as some sort of compliment of an interest. They're interested in a way. And then I'm there, as you say, with hopefully a filled cup, doing my self-care and shit, going into it and having like a beautiful conversation, sharing with them what I've learned and I've known and I felt along my experience.
Yeah, exactly. And also you can like keep them accountable as well, because if they get upset along the way with your answers for some reason, because that would happen, right? They would get upset because it's, it's not aligned with their belief or like the way they live. You can keep them accountable. Well, you ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So yeah.
Hey, beautiful. I want to thank you for now, and I want to keep these interviews not too long for everybody who's listening, but I want you to tell us one more thing. Now, I've listened to you and I find you really inspiring now, even more that I've been talking to you about all of this, and I want you to tell us, like, if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that best, and where can they do that best?
Let's connect on Instagram. That's where you find me sharing most of my stuff, I guess. Although I'm specializing with like coaching Indonesian people, but I do share my stuff in English as well. And also like I have several English clients, or like English speaking clients, I guess. But yeah, find me on Instagram at Fanny Lara Ambadar. And yeah, I would love to connect and chat more.
We'll share that. We'll share that down in the comments on YouTube and in the show notes on Spotify podcasts.
Amazing.
So thank you for that. Yeah, reach out to her if confidence is a topic. And as we talked about it now, confidence goes hand in hand with activism, because the more confident you get really from a deep-hearted place, the more impact you can have as an activist, right? So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Love it. Thank you so much. Like I know we can talk for like hours and hours about this topic.
We can. It's such a deep one.
Right?
And to be continued. We'll talk more about that for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. And I'll probably following this episode when it's launched, I'm going to be posting something that can help, like so that you can start applying it, like so that you can cope with like mental health challenges that you're facing, especially as an activist. So some of them are basically self-care, right? So make sure that you do that, you take care of yourself first, fill that cup before you give out to other people. And learn to self-regulate, so by meditating, breathing technique, and what I already mentioned, not taking things personally, surround yourself with people who are positive and supportive, and surround yourself with activists that are balanced and that you think are good with maintaining their mental health, so that you can ask them as well what they do, right? And do what you love and be happy as well. That's gonna, people will feel that when you're happy being a vegan, you're gonna lead by example. You're gonna show people that, like they're he or she is happy as a vegan, healthy and everything. So maybe this veganism thing does work. I want to be like that as well. Right? And people
Me
will
too.
wanna,
More and more and more. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to speak an invite to you and to everybody who's listening. I have an online workshop. It's a free workshop. It's a 1.5-hour master class called The Empowered Changemaker. And also put the link for you to sign up and watch that workshop down in the comments or in the show notes for the podcast. And it's just a free gift where I will share with you everything that you basically just mentioned, like the self-regulation tools, elevate your energy, take proper care of yourself, and manage your energy. So we're talking about meditation. I'm going to give you an experience on how deep meditation can go. I'm going to give you an experience on how deep breath work can go. And I'm going to share with you a big bite of my wisdom when it comes to activism and mental health, as well as inner alignment. So yeah, you're welcome, Fanny, to join that workshop.
I will join for sure. Thank you so much. And that's awesome, Jude. I love what you do. And yeah, same with me. When I found out what you do, like I just want to, I just want to connect with you more. So really grateful to have this experience. Thank you for having me in this podcast, to share a bit about my story, I don't know, my knowledge, my information or wisdom, if you want to count it as that.
For sure.
Thank you. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you so much, my love. Have a beautiful day to you and to everybody else as well, or a beautiful night, wherever you
Thanks
are.
for listening, everybody. I hope that's been helpful. All right. Bye now.
Bye.